Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Ninja Exploration. Today we're going to be getting into some trouble in Tribute. However, some of you may be wondering what happened to Veil the Silent. Well, it turns out it was pretty boring and was pretty much just reduced to farming the relic and data sites, which is pretty boring. However, we did run into some dudes getting ganked on our way to Veil the Silent, and so check it out. So I pretty much just landed in a bubble, saw these dudes fighting, and I approached the gate and jumped out. I mean, I did sit there decloaked for a while, but they didn't really seem to care too much about me, and just didn't even target me or anything. So, now, while we won't be spending much time on Veil of the Silent in particular, I think it's still probably a good idea to examine at least the loot we farmed out of the site. So here's my first can of loot. Not bad. 300 and something mil plus ship data interfaces. Pretty good. So look at that anchored. And here is our second can from Veil of the Silent. Not too bad, 400 mil, but enough of Veil of the Silent. Let's move on to the real meat and potatoes. Tribute. Tribute was looking like it was going to be just like Veil of the Silent. Just a uneventful-ish farm. In fact, I filled up another small secure container before anything interesting happened. So here's the first container for Tribute. 350 million, not bad. And while I'm on the subject of loot, I think it's time to mention I've changed up my loot strategy. When I finished up with Geminite, what I did is I got on another character in a nullified Type 3, went around, picked up all the cans, and then backtracked to Jita. Well, as you imagine, that's pretty annoying, and it took forever. So instead of just randomly anchoring cans in space, I've actually upped this operation to 2 characters. At first I wanted to just go with 1 character until I got the Covert Cyno, but it just seems rather impractical to be backtracking on a second character and picking up all the loot. It's adding a lot of time to this whole entire project. So instead I'm just using a second character now for this, and that character just logs out in space, and anytime I need to hand off loot I log it in and fly it over to wherever I happen to be, then transfer loot. I think it's going to speed up the whole, reducing my risk quite. It's going to make reducing my risk not as time consuming as how I was doing it before. So here's my first death. Sadly, I started the recording late, so didn't get to see me warping into the bubble. But this is what happens when you're, being lazy, just warping gate to gate. The rapier did take a while to decloak, so I had some false hope that maybe I would be able to get away. But as you can see, that didn't happen. These type of losses can be easily prevented from, simply not warping gate to gate, getting in, descan the gate, checking things out, that type of thing. However, I've been so conditioned to the easy times in Geminite and Veil of the Silent, I just really wasn't expecting the inevitable to happen. So, I might be careful going forward, maybe not, we'll see. I did get my pot out at least, so that's pretty nice. Yeah. It's not really, it's not a virtue set, so it's not too expensive, but it would have hurt. And, good on those guys. I had about 170 worth of loot there, and I like putting it in the can because then I have 1 roll on the can to drop or be destroyed. So, if someone kills me, good on them. I'm going to kind of try to take the loot fairy out of the equation and put it in a can to see if they get all of it or nothing. So now I've, exploded, and it's like, dang it, I need to go reship in Jita. And, I'm not too far away from Jita, so that's no big deal. I start making my way towards Jita, and oh my gosh, the entry system that I went to was just freaking horrible. First I make a bookmark that's kind of not from any particular Celestial. That way, if they just have drag bubbles set up on all the Celestials, I still have a chance of warping to the gate. and not getting dragged into a bubble. As you can see, however, they have a freaking large bubble rather close to the gate, so it catches you from anywhere, and you need a tack on the gate to get through. So we get burned out of there. So instead of like getting an alt to come in to get me a bookmark, I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna go another way. Start heading back, and now there's new bubbles on my way out, and so my pod lands in a bubble. But good thing about small bubbles and medium bubbles is that usually a pod, due to its mass, won't get sucked into the bubble, so you can just warp away right away. So my pod is saved on the way back, and so now I'm like, okay, screw it. If I really want this pod saved, I'm gonna have to get an alt, get it over here, get a tack off that gate so I can get out. And that's what I end up doing. It takes freaking forever. It's really annoying. This is just one reason why it's going to be so much better to explore in a Tech 3 ship that's nullified. Because then I don't have to worry about any of this. I won't die because I'll be only running sites without anyone in local, and then I could just ignore bubbles and just be completely lazy without any fear. If I'm being lazy now, then things like this are going to happen, and it's real pain. One thing we did learn, though, is that Tribute, it's a busy place. Probably shouldn't be solo exploring in Tribute, I would say. It's probably not a good place to be. So far, Geminite and Veil the Silent were pretty decent. Tribute doesn't seem like it's a good place to explore. So I'll go over this in a future video, but I'm going to change my plan, show you my routes, show you what regions I plan to explore, and what order, and that type of thing. But for now, that's about it. Have a good one, and next time we'll be reshipping in Jita, and I'll let you know my plans going forward and where we're going to start exploring next time. And I'm also going to review all the loot I've acquired so far and how much ISK I've generated off that one ship loss. Alright guys, see you next time.